Hey everyone, welcome to PlayStation Underground. You got Tim here. I'm joined by Brett.
Hello.
Welcome to your first episode of PlayStation Underground, Brett.
It's a great one to be part of.
Yeah, especially because we have our friends from Square Enix here. We're joined by Francis Santos, Product Marketing Manager, and Reed Taguchi, Associate Product Marketing Manager on Trials of Mana.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much for stopping by. We are in this shop with a boisterous merchant who clearly is living his best life, has found his vocation.
He's very enthusiastic about what we're about to see, I guess.
As we are. So can you please let us know what are we about to check out in Trials of Mana here?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited to show you more of the game. Obviously, you've seen a couple things from our trailers, but at this point in the game, we are actually we want to show you more. We want to show you more of what the level progression looks like. As you can see, we're level 45 on each character.
Okay.
We're about midway to 3/4 of the way through the game at this point. And we're just excited to show you more gameplay, more of the upgrades that we've made from the original, from the 16-bit era. We're just excited to show you more of the actual gameplay from when you're deeper into the game.
Cool. And who are we following here?
This is Reese.
Okay.
So at this point in the story, Reese is on her way with her companions to go fight the Benevodons. So as you can see from the quest marker there, it says defeat the Benevodons. The one we are going to be fighting is Figmund. He is the the water Benevodon.
Okay.
At this point we're halfway through, and we want to show you more of the battle. We're going to fight through one of the dungeons so you can see how the characters fight together and play together.
Okay, awesome. Can't wait. Let's jump in.
So when you start, like you said, we're jumping in pretty far into the game, half to 3/4. But when you kick it off, you choose amongst a pool of characters, right?
Yes. So at the very beginning, you choose between 6 characters. You can choose when you choose your main character, that's the main story that you go through. But when you choose your 2 companions at the same time, those companions will pop up in the story, join you on your journey. But they'll also they would be different if you chose 2 other different companions.
Oh, okay.
The experiences will differ, and the story will differ based on who you choose as your companions.
So it seems like that would introduce a lot of opportunities for hey, I'm going to play through the game again with a different makeup of my party.
Exactly.
Okay.
So at this point, we were in a merchant town, but now we need to fly to the dungeon. So how are we going to do that? We're going to call our good friend Flammy.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Going to use the drum.
So I'm familiar with Flammy from Secret of Mana. Is this the same Flammy or just a breed of Flammies? What's going on there?
This is a different Flammy.
Okay.
This one is when you meet him as a baby, but it's a white dragon that you befriend on your journey, and he's able to fly you to wherever you've been to in the past during your journey. You're going to see it right now, the world map, which Flammy has complete access to.
Okay.
He'll fly you around wherever you need to go. It's kind of your fast travel system.
This is really fun. Looking back at the 16-bit one, just looking at the advancement here, this looks much cooler, like little mini diorama of the whole planet.
Yeah.
I love little details.
And they're
there.
all so varied. Just seeing this is the lush green area. Here's the volcano. Here's the ice world.
And this music is really taking me back right now. It's pretty
As
cool.
it should. And it's great because a lot of people who played the original just remember flying around Flammy, and this is just the upgraded version of this. It's what they've always wanted,
Also, his pink little paws have been upgraded, and those are adorable as well.
And this is a great moment in the game. Us jumping in, you're definitely, I can fly, that's cool. But when you obtain Flammy, the Flammy drum in the game, it's this great, liberating moment of, you've been on this crazy journey from town to town to town, and now this whole world's open to you. And now you can finally see, I was there.
It's a beautiful thing about Square Enix RPGs is just suddenly it's just, the whole world's open to me. And it feels so liberating.
But I did appreciate that the Benevodon's locations are all marked on the map, because when it first starts in the story, they're like, and they've here they come, oh no, and I'm like, am I gonna have to find them all?
Yeah. We're gonna fight the water Benevodon. So we're gonna do that. It's gonna be the Ice Kingdom.
Oh, awesome!
Icy dungeon area of the map. So we're gonna fly to Frostbite Fields.
Okay.
And this is where we're gonna land.
Okay.
So
Frostbite Fields doesn't sound like the most hospitable place in the world.
no, definitely not. And we're gonna find out right away that it's not really a nice place to be.
Okay.
But before we get into the dungeon, we definitely want to show you guys more of the level progression and how the level progression works.
Okay.
So we're gonna look at our party, and this is the party menu. So there's different things to look at. One is the strategy. So when we go into strategy, we can fix and assign different roles to our characters. So Reese, right now, the way she's set up, she is going to be our support class.
Okay.
So sorry, let me go back one sec. So for the tactics, these are the tactics and the strategies that are employed when you're not controlling that character.
Okay.
So when you're controlling the character, you do whatever you want, but the AI around you will have a specific function, a specific job, tactic to employ when you're not controlling them.
Okay,
So
what kind of
whenever-
role do I want this character to focus on when
Exactly.
I'm not in control? Okay.
So when we're not controlling Reese, she's going to be a support class. So she's going to be focusing on healing and assisting her allies, casting protective spells on them to keep them up in battle.
Okay.
Angela is going to be our backline caster mage. So she's going to be focusing on the attack. So she's going to focus on attacking and casting from the back lines massive damage-dealing spells. And Kevin, he is kind of going to be our...
Looks like a fighter.
He looks like a fighter, yeah. You can tell from the braces around his fists. He's our melee damage dealer. Also, he's going to be on the front lines trying to absorb all the damage that comes at him from the enemies.
Just like a Kevin.
Yeah, right? So based on the strategy, we set our points to certain areas so they can support those strategies. So Reese, being the support class, we put her points into stamina and spirit. By putting her points into stamina, we get more defensive boost spells and also more stamina, so she can survive in the battle.
Okay.
And then for spirit, it gives us a lot more protective abilities. So she can cast protection, mental boosts, MP saver. So a vast amount of abilities to help strengthen her team in battle to make sure that they are strong, dealing a lot of damage, but also that they are protected.
Okay, and I imagine we're halfway through the game here, so we've gradually been unlocking these, I imagine, and really feeling that steady build up.
Yes. The next one we want to look at is Angela. So because we're in an ice dungeon, we wanted to put her points into strength because when you put your points into strength, you get fire spells.
Ah, okay.
And since we're going to be facing a lot of ice-based enemies, these fire spells will do increased damage to them because they'll be vulnerable to fire.
Some good old elemental weaknesses.
Yep,
Love
exactly. So we put the rest of her points into stamina. So just in case they break through the front line, she can survive.
She can weather a few hits.
Mm-hmm. And then Kevin, being our tanky, also frontline damage dealer for melee, we put his strength. So we put his points into strength, so it increases his damage and also stamina, so he can survive, more survivability with more HP.
Seems like a really balanced party. Do you find yourself, optimizing the elemental attacks a lot based on situations in Trials
You
of Mana?
definitely can, because you're able to reset your ability points by visiting a certain area in the world. So if you're going to go into the dungeon with like this one where it's purely ice based, and you need those fire attacks, you can go reset your points and get those spells just so you can do better in the dungeons.
So are the spells connected in any way to like in the originals or even Secret of Mana? There was like Salamando and the different elemental creatures. Are they not really tied to those? And like, for example, getting fire spells for Angela by way of strength points, is that connected at all back to those elemental helpers?
They are. So when you cast the spells, you're going to see those elemental helpers come out and cast with you.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Cool. So now we're set up with the training. We want to show you our gear really quick before we dive into the dungeon.
Yeah, important.
So whenever we do put those points into those certain categories, we get those abilities, right? So this is where you can equip those abilities. And there's two different types of abilities. One is for your class. So you can see this is she's a class 3 Star Lancer, so we get Star Lancer abilities from our points, and also chain abilities. You get certain chain abilities by putting your points in, and chain abilities are usable from anybody. So whenever you, like say we put a certain amount of points into Reese, and she gets defensive chain abilities, anyone can equip those chain abilities. So Angela can equip them, Kevin can equip them. So it's really customizable. It really allows you to be customizable.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. That feels like it adds a little layer to the original version, being able to customize in that way.
Yeah. So we set up our party to be, to support our strategies. Kevin has the defensive capabilities and the upgraded melee damage abilities, support abilities for Reese, damage dealing abilities for Angela. And that being said, we're good to go. I think we're ready.
Reese gives me like strong like Valkyrie vibes. Is that like
Valkyrie is actually one of her classes. So
Oh,
it's
really?
actually
Okay.
the tier 2 class.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's really cool is the costumes change whenever you change your class. Right now, Reese is a Star Lancer, so you can tell from her costume. And you can actually change the costumes in the menu.
Oh,
so if
awesome.
you prefer, like she's a Star Lancer, but if you prefer the Valkyrie costume, you can change her to the Valkyrie
You can
costume.
change it out. That's great. Yeah, because the art style is it's just really charming and like really detailed in that, sort of Square Enix RPG way I've come to love so much.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it looks great.
In those classes, it's like as you progress, I think moments in the story lead you to, hey, you get to choose a class, but there's choices, right? It's like you start as Valkyrie, and then you can choose like a good side, light side, or light side, dark side ish direction.
And it's not it's not permanent. If you decide you want it to be a different class, if you wanted to choose a different path, you can also do that too. It's just a matter of resetting.
And we're seeing, one of the things that always made Secret of Mana and the series stand out to me, especially growing up in the 16-bit era, was seeing enemies on the field and being able to, approach on your own terms and everything. It looks like there's even more information than I remember. Like you're seeing, a zone of where they're going to attack. Is that new?
That is brand new. So you can see the telegraphed attacks, just because of the nature of the upgrades that we've made to the original, we're able to do things like that. So as you can see, some basics about battle really quickly. When you hit an enemy, you get these particles that drop on the floor, and when you gain them, they increase your gauge at the bottom of the menu there.
Okay.
Underneath the character icons there, and you can use those gauges to unleash your abilities. Like so.
Oh, spin kick.
By the way, Kevin turns into his werewolf.
I noticed his face and he had a little snout, and I was like, hold on, did I miss that?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get into that actually, because that only happens at nighttime. So there's day-night cycles to the game, and there's benefits to the day-night cycle. One of them being Kevin, who's a Beastman. He can turn into a Beastman when he enters combat, and he actually does more damage.
Okay, cool.
Right? So that's going to help us later on. But there are other benefits to the day-night cycle as well, such as some NPCs will spawn in different places, give you different dialogue options. At night, the monsters that spawn are more difficult, but they give you more experience.
Okay, so some trade-offs there.
Yeah, so there's some benefits to it, but the main one for this purpose, for this what we're showing you, is Kevin turns into a Beastman in battle, does more damage, helps out on that front.
Awesome. And how important is like positioning in battle? I see Reed's making his way around the battlefield a lot here, but you're behind an enemy or in front of them. Does it make a big difference with damage dealt and everything?
It does. There are some AOE abilities, but mostly, if you're a casting class, you want to be in the back lines. Just like if you're playing Angela, it doesn't necessarily do more damage if you're closer or farther away.
Okay.
But you should be able to point in a certain direction where your attacks want to go, and that affects how the damage is dealt in an AOE cell in front of you.
And speaking of, I think, did we just see the day-night cycle kind of click over? Okay.
You did. So maybe, I'm not sure if it turned into day. Did I miss that? If it turned into day, then you're not going to see Kevin turn into Wolfman anymore, so we can see what he looks like.
Probably a relief for him, but I mean, it was nice to see it while it lasted.
Yeah, see, he doesn't turn into Iceman anymore.
It looks painful.
And when it changes to, it was Lumina Day, so does that still, like, Lumina spells and Lumina adjacent things get a boost for that day still?
Actually, I'm not sure. That's a good question. We'll look into that.
It's cool. Is there like sort of like a light astrology sort of element to some of the abilities? You said like Luma Day? Are those like days of the week? Or
Yeah, the days of the week are named after the
little
elements.
elementals.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've didn't set this up, but we should be showing like the quick menus.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Maybe after this
hotkeys.
battle we can show them.
Yeah.
So there's
Cool.
upgrades, quality of life upgrades to the original. One of them being the quick cast and the hotkey assignments that you can do.
Okay.
So if we hit down, I think, on the D-pad, yes, you can access our moves.
Okay.
These are moves that you gain from putting those points into your abilities, and you can put them and can assign them to hotkeys on your controller. So you can use them for abilities, but you can also use them for items if you need to use your items right away.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you just spend less time digging through some
Exactly.
menus and just have quick access here.
Yep,
That's really
yep.
nice.
Put some HP, put some candy in there.
Why? I always have candy
Gotta have it.
on the ready. Yeah.
It's good old candy and chocolate all
That's
the
right.
time.
have it.
And an unwrapped chocolate, by the way.
Yep,
I just
yep,
want
yep.
that bar floating in my pocket.
Just mingling with the lint.
Just in case, you gotta pull it out real quick and eat
That's
it.
right.
But
So you can set them for each character. So whenever you're switching in battle, you might need to use certain character who has certain items equipped.
Don't keep me waiting.
Yeah, and I'll give you a good example with Angela here.
see, I remember casting before would kind of it took a minute, and like the action would freeze, and the other characters can't do anything.
Ooh, nice.
But now it looks like it just like combat overall just seems much more fluid, and you're meant to keep you moving.
Yeah, the one cool thing about that is because you have those gauges. If you use up your gauge to cast abilities or spells on one character, you can always switch to the next one, use up that gauge as well, and just like never a lull moment in the battles because of that. So it's really cool.
Oh, and this one, those statues heal you, which is very helpful in long dungeons.
You can do that.
Oh, nice. Are
It's
they
bringing back a lot of memories.
Okay,
And you can save your game too.
And save points. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We won't do that, but yeah, it looks like we have reached our destination.
Ooh.
We're about to face Figment.
So I'm just going to shake your hand and
That
give you the
is
treasure at the end. And
Insanely faster than I got through this dungeon.
we'll treat it to a cutscene.
Dramatic effect. Walking up to Figment. So, if you played the original, you'll recognize Figment as the Ice Benevodon, and you'll remember the boss fight as him jumping around, dealing massive damage to you. But because of the upgrades that we made to the gameplay, and to the battle, and to the battle systems, we're able to put more mechanics into the fight. We stayed true to the original. He still jumps around the room. But because of the upgrades that we've made, we've added battle mechanics, more battle mechanics. So in this fight, you have to destroy these ice pillars that fall from the ceiling like very fastly, because if you don't, he'll unleash his attack from the ceiling of the room and do massive damage.
Okay.
But we were able to do it, so he falls from the ceiling.
So he's
and
vulnerable now.
Now he is vulnerable, yes.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's an interesting element of it, which is that just the 3D overhaul. It sort of adds the visuals and makes the world look so much richer. But yeah, adds this depth to battles. Is that something that we see throughout a lot of boss battles and throughout the game?
Yep.
Cool.
You're gonna see it through all the boss battles and also the dungeons, because as you notice in the dungeons,
Yeah, you're jumping
there are mechanics
around.
there. Yeah, and it's an ice dungeon, so you're slipping.
Yeah.
And it's impeding your movement. Those things are just things we're able to do to increase the immersion and the experience that you get from playing the game.
Okay, gotcha. And for his sort of ultimate ability with those ice, stalactites, whatever they are, is that aura like that radius that's filling? If that gets all the way to the edge, is that when he does it? Okay.
Exactly. So
Cool.
if you don't destroy those pillars right away and it gets to the edge,
Okay.
he's able to do massive damage to your entire party.
I think it's really easy to read. I feel like all of the sort of attack telegraphs are just really quick and easy to digest.
Yeah.
And I'll just let it happen.
You can see what it looks
so we
like.
can see.
But let it be noted that Reed could have done it.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Whack.
Boom.
Boom. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that hurts.
Strength.
Is he going to do it again? Okay. Oh, a different icicle attack, I see.
Yep.
Figment. I kind of feel bad for him. I mean, is he just trying to defend his turf, or is he sort of actually an evil creature?
He's an evil creature.
He is. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. So we don't have to feel too bad about
No,
this.
no.
Stay true.
Nice, right in the face.
Maybe let's destroy him with a fire spell.
Ooh, spectacular effect. Yeah, it seems like the fire is really come in handy in this dungeon. Like the blaze wall was
Yeah,
huge.
and when you hit them with your fire spells, you can see it marks it as vulnerable, so it does extra
satisfying. Yeah. Nice.
How's that?
Boom.
You didn't like that at all.
Nope.
Well done, Reed.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's 1 out of
8.
8. Yeah.
And each
Okay.
one has an element.
Cool. That was a lot of fun. If I'm right, Trials of Mana is going to be out on PlayStation 4 on April 24th. Is that right?
That is correct.
Cool. Awesome. So, Francis, Reed, thanks for joining us on PlayStation Underground. This has been a blast.
Thank you guys for having us. It was so cool.
PlayStation